Hey yo 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 yo! Welcome back to the stream, everybody. DJ Fermi here. Ooh, that's not. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Ooh. Let me pause the streams. They're playing. Pause that. All right. So what is going on? I'm currently grinding to become rank 14 in World of Warcraft. Okay, well, I'm not going to get rank 14. I'm going to at least get rank 10. Okay, that's the goal, rank 10. I'm currently rank 6. Last week I got 129,000 honor. I currently have 190,000. This battleground's been going on for an hour. And it's not ending. So I'm sitting here. This guy's mad. Fat ass. DJ Fruby, where are you effing from? Donald Dumb. Lele Mo. Dumb question? Dumb answer. So anyways, here's the real deal. I'm playing Kerbal Space Program at the same time. I have these timers going. I must go side back and forth. And then Alt Tab while my team does nothing because they're a bunch of idiots. So I'm playing Kerbal Space Program. Brand new campaign. I have a bunch of mods installed. If people want to know, I might get a mod list. But we have the astronaut, a bunch of mods to make them more pretty. Remote tech, some community protectory. Anyway, so we're gonna play on moderate, advance, require, control, signal. Very nice. I think we'll take this. I don't know what hard does. Science rewards are reduced a lot. We'll go for moderate and require signal for control. We'll name this default. We'll start, overwrite it. You can see no tricks up my sleeves. Remote tech is on. Hello, one viewer. Okay, I'm gonna wiggle my WoW character, look around what's going on, look at the map, judge everything. We got some people backdooring. Everyone's still playing defense. I'm gonna spam my macro. And I'm gonna reset my timer. The Kerbal Space Program. How does this game work? Well, we currently started as a little space center back in the 1940s. Some evil World War II governments are employing us to develop rocket technology for them. So we've been given, but we've lost the war. And we now are just trying to fund ourselves and maintain our organization and make money by becoming a private sector industry. Now working for the United States government. My name is Otto von Braun. Is it Otto von Braun? And I founded NASA. I used to be a very bad person, some might say. But oh boy, did I know rockets. So we have some missions available. Launch our first vessel. It's a great starter mission. We can go to our R&D tree. I forget what tree this is called. Look it up later. Basic rocketry. Hold on. I cannot let that name just not go by. So we have texture replacer, sounds of space, science for reward, scatter, scansat, remote tech, planet shine, basic planetary, module manager, mech-jeb, Copernicus, distant object, KIS, KAS, science, astronomer's visual pack. And where's the tech tree? I forget which one. Unmanned before manned. That's what it is. I'll go wiggle my characters. Reset my timer. And we'll go launch some Kerbal into space. So the first mission was launch the vessel. What? Now this mod's a little broken. We should have access to. Unmanned technology like probes, but for some reason we don't. It's broken somehow. Can I have half a thing of solid fuel? Okay, we'll set the thruster limit at 5. Maybe 6. We might live at 6. Put some thermometers on it. Barometers. It's all the science we can. And then maybe an antenna. In case they're not going to make it. And that's all you have access to at the beginning. For launching rockets. Mech-jeb is for pussies. I was told by Cam. You know what? He might have a fair point. But there's something going wrong with my... What about SAS? Can I use SAS? It's so hard to control these rockets otherwise. Man, I feel like I need to play without mech-jeb now, but I don't think these rockets will make it in space otherwise. But so far we're not using it, so it doesn't matter. It's efficient to this guy's standards. Luckily I'm not thin-skinned or you'd be banned. So we're not making any air. That's okay. I didn't want my guy to die on the first flight. Got 6 science. Have any safety friggin' devices yet? No safety. Aviation, stupid friggin' wings, rocketry. That might be useful. So I'm gonna do some stupid science grinding. How do I was just thinking, how do I grind science if I don't have access to liquid fuel? There's one thing we do. Ooh, zoomed in. I want to zoom in. There we go. We can get 2 thermometers on here. 2 barometers. We're gonna do the runway, and we'll do the next to the runway. I'm playing on moderate difficulty. And hey, requiring a constant connection. So this is not like super easy. got the troll stuck in my head. Oh, we'll unlock the seismic accelerometer. Put 2 of those on too. I think we can beam back these sides. I don't know how that works exactly. I'll try it out this run. Then I can give you a definitive answer. Oh wait, don't these move on their own? Huh. Yeah, these move on their own. That's how you avoid being AFK in WoW. Hey, it's boring sitting there AFK. I figure I gotta do something. I figure I'd let you guys in on the secret. Damn, these things take a lot of electric charge. I don't have a lot of money. Oh. Okay. Let's go look at what's going on here in this WoW game. No alliance around. I'll buff up. Set the timer. Let's go make some rockets that'll roll around. That's all we need for science, I think. So we have a crew report. Keep that. Take all 3 of these. And we'll rotate this pupper right off the runway. We'll get 2 biomes measured. Just gotta make sure I never hit that space bar. We could transfer one of these, review data. View this data. And we got one more experiment. There we go. Apparently that's how that works. You can just recharge them, reset them, and we're done with this little test run. We got some basic stats. We measured seismic data, temp data, pressure on various spots around the base. What's the current mission? Launch our first vessel. Okay, well, we're not. Are we ready yet? Finally unlocked parachutes. I feel like those should be higher up. Also, there should be a probe here, but we weren't let to have a probe allowed. Inline reaction wheel. Ooh, liquid engines. And we got 4.8 science. Look at early aviation. So now we got lots of basic tech. Start launching our first rockets. Now we will be doing various crew reports at multiple altitudes. So we will have to bring an antenna. Otherwise, pilot won't be able to send back his crew reports because we can't bring multiple sheets of paper. Oh, no, we can't have that. Let's put 2 of those on there just to make sure we don't ever run out of power. Reaction wheel. Yes, I'll take one of those. I'll take a hammer. How high are we going to go with this rocket? I think we should go really high. Ooh. We just bought this liquid fuel engine. Oh, detacher. I want to make sure I have enough money to afford all these toys I'm putting on here. Alright, and one more detacher. The coupler is what it's called, you nerd. We hate you. Okay, this is way overkill. So we'll just bring this. We're not gonna go crazy high or anything. They give us a free parachute. I think that was a free parachute. I love you, Cam. I won't ever forget you. Oh, we can ditch all that. We might not though. Trying to throttle the max. We'll try to tilt to the right. Tilting to the right is working so far. Slowing down the throttle a little bit. I'm tilting slowly to the right. I just want to land in the water. That's all. Nothing more, nothing extreme. Going fairly high though. Definitely going to be over the water by now. At this point, we're just trying to see if we can get into higher atmosphere. How high are we going? Complete all my goals early. Turn my throttle up to max now, I think. Let's look at the map. Transmit all that, because we're going into space, baby. How we make it up? Nice, going up in the high deep space. If I go to Space Center. Missions available. Orbit Kerbal. I get the money for all those other ones? Oh yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, can I fly this? Thank you. Tissue. So, how's the battery looking? Try to send all that back. See if any of it will make it. Here we go. Moment of truth. Where's that electric charge going? Oh, EVA report. Yeah, we can't do EVA reports. That's what it wants us to do. The demon. I'm going to turn on SAS just for this portion. Just for safety. We have a lot of decelerating to do. What the hell? What the is that? We did it. If we just decelerate to a nice temperature of 240 meters per second. Whew. Very nice. I had to tell my parachute to open a little bit early there. Make sure I didn't crash into the ocean. I can fast forward this down. Wiggle my character. Reset this timer. And look at this stupid AV, an hour and a half. But I'm one of the few people who'll stay and get honor. I need more people in offense. Anyone who's back here is wasting time. These people are all wasting time. It's better to lose quickly. Can we spin this pupper? Whoa. Don't spin. God, I was spinning so fast those flew apart. Do I have any science devices left? One. We can get the air pressure at the ocean. Not the temperature. So I always wanted to know what this crew report. Don't mind the airplane landing. Lots of science. Lots of science. 111 science. Our first actual probe. Over here is we actually get access to MechJeb 2. But do I actually want this rocketry stuff? The next achievement they want is to orbit this pupper, which I think we should be able to do. This gives access to next level science juniors, yes. Flight crew, I'll unlock that one. Stability. General rocketry. The swivel. Wait a second. That wasn't the swivel this whole time? Whoa. Amazing. Adapters. I don't think I need any of these adapters. Maybe we'll get a stability for the fairing later and the radio decoupler. We'll leave this room. We'll do a little science farming again. Do have money to do this. Here's the probe. It has an antenna. It has like 18 science juniors on it. What? How'd that happen? That is nuts. Fuel tank, and where's a nice big old fuel tank? There we go. Come on, put you on the end. What are you doing? Why would you ever attach like that? Let's quit joking around here. Come on. Really funny. Nice joke. It was just that one part. Just this part. just the part I'm working on? There we go. A jet engine. Swivel. Beautiful. Lovely. We didn't have a swivel before? Really? Wow. Mind shocking. Mind blowing. Landing gear. I'm gonna put some landing gear on this. That is completely upside down. We're talking about this. There we go. That's pretty good. I think I might put a few more. Wait. Ugh. Length. Too long. Need a shorter fuel tank. It's okay, we didn't need a giant one anyways. Okay, so far so good. Check into this BS. I'm the only one up here. As usual. Well, of course. That's how that should work. How else would it work? That looks safe. Okay, I just need some science on it. But how many where are the batteries at? Put a few of these in there. Solar panel? Did I say solar panel? What? How's this parts list looking? Pretty good. Put two more solar panels over here. There we go. Definitely safe to run. A lot of people ask me, what is the purpose of all this? Well, it's the land, the science vessel places. God, that's annoying. We're just gonna bounce along with our bus. We're gonna take a bus all along the space station, the space center. And that's how you farm honor, because each one of these little buildings counts as a different biome. I'm going to press B to break. Let's turn this slightly to the right. This runway is pretty flat. Could be flatter, but it's pretty flat. So I'm going to slow down even more. 3 meters a second, I can start turning. Turn slow. Seven meters a second. Can we survive going over this hill? Oof. That was a little scary. Keep the material steady. Transmit the rest of this. There goes our electric charge. Which we should be getting back from this. So I ran out of electrical energy. I'm going to turn on my engine, turn on the gas a little bit, try to recharge my electricity a little bit. 69%. %. They're working on it. Where's the sun? Should be right overhead. They should be working full throttle. The energy flow. We're giving it some gas. Should have put some more solar panels on there, I guess. We'll just recover it, relaunch it with more solar panels. I thought 3 would be enough. Apparently it's not. Gave us some science. That's pretty good. We drain power pretty fast. There we go. So this should have lots of electrical recharge. So I can wire back all the science, not needing a ton of experiments. Yeah, we're hauling ass. I don't have time to be here all day. The ground's flat. You got nothing to worry about. Slowing down. Seismic scan. Wire that back. Now this should be coming back super fast. Whoa. Did it get it all? It used all my electricity. Wow, just crashed. No AFK tag. I'm still the only one on the front. Oh my god. These idiots. Keep the material study. Wire all this back. Not enough charge? 29%. Not enough charge. We got so many solar panels going. I'm gonna have to wait for this to finish uploading. We might use this token. Can't beat him, join him.
Peace, friend. Go in peace. How may I aid you? Goodbye. Well met.
Hello, man.
Soldier blood. I'll turn in some soldier blood.
You wish to speak?
not have a gallon of it. Do not have any of it. I don't see it. I don't see the great fight. Oh. It was spawned. Keep that. Wire everything else. Get out of here. Very nice. We'll keep the material study. Tracking station. Atmospheric pressure tracking station. Seismic scan, the last one. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Change it to rings. So we had 1, 2, 3 left. We're nearly done before that accident happened. Yes, this is me farming science from around the Space Center. Once we get it all farmed up, we can get out of here. Do some more fun stuff. Like, get some satellites in a constellation. We'll slow down this a little bit. Six meters a second, we can handle that. No material studies? What's going on? Ooh, I didn't think we'd make it there. Keep material study. Keep material study. Wire everything else. We're slowly sliding forward. Still wiring that data from the astronaut complex. Keep the material study. Transfer these three. And that was the last of it, right? I think we need to do this one. Then we're done. We'll have to go slowly around it. We were working our way over here before we crashed and burned and died. This will help us charge even faster. It's like, what the hell, man? All of these are working hard. How much more elect charge do you need? 36%. Give it more gas. Material study will keep that. Keep. We'll wait for this transfer to finish. %65. Is this what hell feels like? %80. God, imagine if I hadn't had these solar panels on this thing. Two more updates. I should say we're done. Oh, we got one more left. %25. 50%. Okay. Must be a smaller one, but still important. Did I tell it to transmit everything? I don't think so. Is that from the VAB? Okay, yeah. What are you even uploading? Oh, I just got it. Well, it looks like I'm not playing that game for 15 minutes. There we go. It's all good. Do we have enough science yet? A lot of science. Wow. That's what I'm talking about. Get the cheapo stability. We get two of these this level. Or one of these third levels. Fourth level? That's a big old heat shield. Next few missions will require satellites. I'll take a Terrier engine. Next, I want electronics. So we have some missions. Orbit Kerbal. That's a nice one. Put a dish out in Kerbal. Let's do that. Same time as we orbit Kerbal.
Right. And there's a video of them stabbing him in the asshole while he's standing there, just confused, not knowing what to do, and this guy's jam.
I can't believe we still do war like this. It's just, you know, I get in a lot of trouble because I'm anti-war, and all wars are bullshit.
How do you get in trouble because you're anti-war?
Well, for instance,
who's pro-war?
The entire establishment is pro-war. You know that. Every newscaster is pro-war. If you're not pro-war, you don't get on TV. If you're against the war, you get fired, like Phil Donahue, like Ed Schultz, like Jesse Ventura, like Ashley Banfield. If you tell, like Chris Hedges, if you
That's what I
tell
came
the
here
truth about
for.
the war, you will get fired from establishment news. And
There's
so,
no establishment news that will let you talk openly, other than RT. RT seems to be pretty open, which is really ironic.
That's ironic, right?
Yeah, I mean, when Abby Martin was working for RT, I was like, Jesus Christ, like, how's that work? You know, the Empire Files, and you're working for Russia? Like, you know.
I know it's
crazy.
It's a crazy juxtaposition. It is weird. Ed Schultz was the one who said that He was told what to cover, what not to cover at MSNBC. He was told not to cover Bernie Sanders. He wanted to cover Bernie Sanders anyway. He said that the Hillary Clinton campaign and the head of NBC News, Andy Lack, were joined at the hip, and he tried to cover Bernie Sanders. He was told not to. He was yelled at by the head of MSNBC. That's how he described it. And a month later, he was fired. He was out.
Well, Cenk had a similar situation. Cenk from the Young Turks.
Cenk, he was told that our friends in Washington don't like your tone.
Oh my God.
That's what they told him.
That is hilarious.
And he was winning his time slot.
Amazing.
And they told him that, and they moved him to the weekend to give Al Sharpton. This is true. This is true. So they moved him to the weekend, and they said they wanted him to work on his presentation skills. The guy's winning his time slot. They're saying we want you to work on your presentation skills, and meanwhile, who they replace him with? Al Sharpton.
He's got great presentation skills. That's all Al has. I mean,
But,
he's
yeah,
got a
I
nice
mean-
suit on.
Al Sharpton, did you ever see him try to read a teleprompter? It's brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great orator.
Yeah.
But he's not a teleprompter reader.
No.
And it was like I have clips we used to make fun all the time on my show of him. It was hilarious. And then to find out that that's the reason they gave was because he's a better presenter. He's a great orator. That's
Yeah.
different than being a news presenter.
Right.
And that is not in Al Sharpton's wheelhouse.
No, it's just he's not the most trustworthy person either. I mean, he's got a history of deception. So you having
Well, the way he got that job.
Yeah, well, how about the way he became famous? The Tawana Brawley case. I mean, he became famous through deception. And so you're seeing this guy who is basically a famous con man who's now on television on a news program.
Well, they have. There's a lot. Look at Brian Williams.
Yes.
I
Is
mean,
he back? Is
they
he back
don't-
in the air?
Yes, he has the 11th hour on MSNBC. So
Has everybody forgotten?
everybody has forgotten. I get his punishment was he had to spend 6 months giggling with Rachel Maddow.
What did he do?
They
do a
have
cooking
these
show?
They do these shows. They got like these round tables, and and he has to laugh and pretend. They all
You know
pretend.
what's fucked up about him? All he had to do was tell the truth, and it was scary enough.
No shit.
Yeah, I mean, you were in Iraq. You really were there.
You really were there.
Yeah, I mean, you really were there. Or Afghanistan? Was it Iraq or Afghanistan?
I think it was Iraq.
And shots were fired. But Hillary did the same goddamn thing.
Oh, that's right.
She lied about being shot at. She
That's-
fucking straight up lied about being
Oh,
shot
but she
at.
was in Bosnia, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
And who was it? Who was the comedian who outed her? It was Sinbad.
Did he?
Yeah, it was Sinbad who was on that trip, and he's like, there was no sniper fire.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, she was busted straight up lying about being shot at. Yeah.
So it's always shocking to me when I find out that politicians are lying, isn't it something?
Crazy. Can't believe it's real.
They're all it's weird. It's such a only the purest of people are drawn to that profession. It's whenever I find out
should
they're narcissistic megalomaniacs, I'm always shocked.
Well, you know what it is, Jimmy? We're weeding out the bad apples, and then we're eventually going to get to the good ones.
Yeah.
We just got to get rid of these bad ones first.
So that's why it comes back to when he was talking about how Putin, he's like, hey, I want to tell Trump, slow down, don't be friends with this guy. No, I want Trump to be friends with Putin because he's a nuclear power. I want Trump to be friends with anybody. We need détente. You know, NATO is the one ramping up tensions with Russia, and we have ever since the Cold War supposedly ended. And so, you know, it was just a few. Anyway, so I just think, yes, Putin is a bad guy. They're all bad guys.
Right.
There's why I just had John Kiriakou on my show. I don't know
Who
if
is he?
So he is ex-CIA guy. He went to prison because he exposed a torture program.
Oh.
Yeah. So Robert Mueller actually prosecuted that guy.
Whoa.
So now he's a member of Veterans Intelligence Professionals for Sanity, VIPs, and they were invented, or they were originally organized to debunk the weapons of mass destruction about Iraq. So they were intelligence professionals who knew what was happening, that we were being sold a bill of goods because the military-industrial complex wanted its war, right?
Yeah.
And so they were like all the top guys, Ray McGovern, Bill Binney, and they created this organization to help debunk it. Well,
Bill Binney is the guy who was the first whistleblower for the NSA.
yes,
correct?
so they tried to throw, and the FBI tried to throw him in jail, and of course he's the smartest guy the NSA ever had, so he outsmarted the FBI.
Well, how did he do that?
So
I
he
forget
had
the story. But
I forget the story. He told it to me, but he had them secretly recorded, saying certain things, and so when they tried to show the evidence against him, he's like, "Actually, I got you guys," and they're like, "Oh shit." And So they could. So he had them. So he outsmarted them. And he tells the story on my show. It was about a year ago, so I don't remember exactly how it went. But he told me a lot of mind-blowing stuff on my show. A lot of stuff. Just like about how they spy on us.
Well, he was the one that first exposed this program that was essentially spying on every single email, every single voicemail, every single conversation that you have is being recorded.
So William Binney invented a thing called thin thread. So thin thread was a data collection. So what he did is he hooked up every cell phone to every cell phone in the universe. And he did it. And it was hard to do, and everybody said you couldn't do it. He did it. And so he knew that metadata was more predictive than, say, if I tap your phone and listen to your actual phone conversation. I actually learn more by looking at a larger data set. And when contacts start happening, that means movement's happening. That means an attack is going to happen. That means more. So the metadata means more. And so he found a way to track people and keep your identity secret, so it was constitutional. That's what he cared about, the Constitution and the right to privacy. And Thin Thread did that. It was a better, and they got rid of Thin Thread, and a couple weeks later, 9/11 happened. So that's who Bill Binney is. And so he said they got rid of it because there's billions of dollars in the new they brought in I think it was called Trailblazer, not as good as a tracker, not as good as a metadata thing, but it was $5-6 billion to Booz Allen, whoever invented it, and that's what this is all about. It's all about money, and you don't want to disappoint people who want to have a lot of money paid their way. And then so he blew the whistle on that, and they come back at him and they try to put him in jail. That's what they do to whistleblowers. That's what we do. So that's funny to hear him say, oh, somebody wrote a bad book about Putin and they ended up dead. What do you think we do in this country? Look what they did to Chelsea Manning. Look what we did to people who exposed war crimes inside of our country. Right now they're trying to assassinate Julian Assange. They have him in basically solitary confinement. We literally did torture Chelsea Manning. So, and then, Barack Obama used he prosecuted lots of whistleblowing journalists using now I'm blanking on the word it's called, but Espionage Act. So this idea that, I'm sure maybe Putin did. Maybe that woman who wrote that book about Putin has a lot of powerful enemies. Usually you do. When you are that kind of a journalist where you're exposing the powerful, she probably didn't just expose Putin. So she probably exposed a lot of people. My point being is that, now who's being naive, gay?
Well, I mean, she probably did expose a lot of people, but it's also very likely that Putin had her killed.
Yeah, yes it is. I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
Barack Obama had a kill list.
Yeah.
So these guys are, he took us from 2 wars to 7. He did Libya, turned it into a failed state.
Yeah.
Right now they have open slave trading.
I know. You can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah,
so dark.
And they want to do it again. They want to do it in Syria. So, Joe, let me ask you a question. If we get rid of Assad in Syria, do you know who takes over?
Jesus or something.
That's right.
Is that who starts running things? Moses, or is he around?
Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra.
Yeah.
So that
they create a power vacuum, which is what always happens.
The Wahhabi terrorists funded by Saudi Arabia, that's who takes over.
Yeah.
And I have videotape after videotape of our top officials admitting that Saudi Arabia funds ISIS and that we also did.
Really?
And that we created. We created Al-Qaeda. And ISIS was created because of our invasion of Iraq, but then we actually fund them. And we ship them arms. So,
for what reason?
To go overthrow Assad, so we can put a pipeline through Syria.
So we fund them so that they fight Assad, but then Saudi Arabia funds them.
This isn't the first time we did that. We funded Al Qaeda so they would fight the Russians.
Right.
So this is the same, and then we're left with them.
When it was the Mujahideen.
That's when they were the Mujahideen. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and I have videotapes of Hillary Clinton screaming about this. We created this problem. She says this on video. I have it. So, that's why I get in trouble, because I tell the truth about the war. And if you tell the truth about the war, you'll be called a conspiracy theorist by the establishment news. That's exactly what's happened. That happened to me.
Are you a conspiracy theorist now?
No, that's what they say.
Oh.
You know what because I tell the truth about Syria.
Right.
The biggest conspiracy of my lifetime was the Iraq War. That was a conspiracy.
Yeah, that's a legit conspiracy.
That's a legit conspiracy.
Yeah, I mean, that's one you can actually prove.
Right.
I mean, I used to have a whole bit about it. I used to have a whole bit about, like, the only way to find out if someone was, like, from 2005. It was that the reason why they put George Bush in power is the only way to find out if someone is really stupid is to put an actual stupid guy in as president and find out if everybody freaks out. It's the only way to really tell. And we were like, well, we could put a smart guy in there and have him act dumb. Like, no, we'll never know. We'll never know. We get a dumb guy. Let's just try it out and see what happens. And then it was all the whole thing. I was going to war in Iraq. Like, why did we go to war over there? And what did we tell them? And
Excuse
they
me.
bought that. Holy shit!
Yep.
And then it was, he won again. He won again. Fuck. And I go, and you know, there's someone in the back of the room going, I think we can go dumber. and that became Trump. And that was from 2005, from my Showtime special from 13 years ago.
So let me tell you something. Trump will be allowed to be president and was allowed to be president because he's doing the bidding of the establishment. They're on board with most of the stuff he's doing. They're like that. He's not pulling back on any of the wars. They've all ramped up the military budget. Isn't it funny, Joe?
But they're not protecting him from Mueller. They're not protecting him from this investigation.
Well, nothing's happened.
Right.
Again, and by the way, what they've got him on is all regular corruption. Like I said, Trump is corrupt. Yes, he's corrupt. He's corrupt with Saudi Arabia. He's corrupt with Russia. He's corrupt with Israel. They're all corrupt. What do you think? The Clinton Foundation. They're all. The Chomsky quote. They'd all be hung if we applied the Nuremberg standards. So this is the world we're living in. So this idea that somehow we need to focus extra on Trump and somehow Putin. And you know what? Journalists, the anti-Putin journalists in Russia will tell you that we're a bunch of numbskulls over here because we're inflating Putin's power. So we are he's this all-powerful guy who's got his finger in every decision everywhere at all times. Alyssa Milano's now blaming the Green Party being controlled by the Russians for an Ohio election, a special election. I'm not kidding. I can show you the tweet.
Alyssa Milano.
You think I'm... And who doesn't love Alyssa Milano,
Alyssa,
right?
She's beautiful.
Who doesn't? She's one of the prettiest of all time.
I met her in a hotel once.
Did you really?
Wandering through the hotel, we got in an elevator together.
So here is...
I can't believe I'm in a hotel elevator with Alyssa Milano.
That is.
I said hello. She said hello back, and that was it.
Did she know who you were?
I don't think so. No. It was a long time ago, too.
She says, you know what sucks? Because of our unwillingness to pass policy that protects our election integrity, I immediately think the Green Party votes tonight's are Russian meddling. Why else would anyone cast a protest vote in Ohio when there's so much at stake?
So much at stake. That's so delusional. Like, what is a protest vote? What's your vote worth? If everyone votes and they all vote green, is that a protest vote? Isn't it possible that the Green Party can win? Like, do you have no faith? So what they're doing is essentially just bowing down to a rigged system, saying the system's rigged, so just vote for side B, even though side A and B are funded by the same people. I know, but ideologically, side B is our side. That's what she's saying.
So what they've gone past, so now the hashtag resistance have gone beyond voter shaming, and now what they're actually doing is democracy shaming. You don't get to participate in democracy.
Exactly.
And those people, so let me tell you something. When people say, oh, the Greens take away vote. I would not have voted in the presidential election if I did not have the opportunity to vote for the Green Party.
Right.
So those votes, you don't own those votes. The way electoral politics works is that if you don't have enough votes to win, you have to go get them. Right. And you have to appeal to those votes. But they don't have an appeal to voters. The Democratic Party, they have nothing. And so what they have left is fear and voter shaming. And that's it. Now they're actually shaming democracy.
But you would also think that by the time, after we've gotten through this past election, where literally no one in the mainstream media, other than maybe Fox News, predicted that Trump was going to win. No one. They all were 100% sure that Hillary was going to win. They were had in the 90% range of probability of her winning, and they were displaying it on CNN. So they know that that's wrong. So why would someone think that a Green Party candidate has to be, or a Libertarian candidate has to be a protest vote? Why can't it be a real vote at this point? When you're talking about the kind of social media outreach that is capable today, that's possible today, where a person who has some really good points and has look at this woman who won in New York, the 28-year-old girl is a Democratic Socialist.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Look, if that doesn't tell you, like, this world is changing in a radical way, and upstarts and people who are huge underdogs have the possibility of winning. It's not a protest vote. It's an actual vote. And if everybody who thinks this way votes towards that protest vote, guess what? They win.
That's right.
That's what it is.
So I used to have a joke where I would say, no, you can't vote for a third party candidate until a lot of people are already voting for a third-party candidate.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they're saying. You can't vote for them; they have no chance to win. So you have to wait till a lot of people are already. So that people don't understand that inherent contradiction. And by the way, people. Maybe if you spent a tenth of the energy trying to excite the half of the country that doesn't vote, as you do on trying to voter shame progressives or Green Party or environmentalists for not giving you their vote, which you do not fucking own.
Right. Exactly.
If you were to spend a tenth of the energy trying to excite people who don't participate to participate instead of shaming the people who do participate, maybe you'd get somewhere.
It's also this reluctance to admit that both sides are corrupt is this very strange thing that exists on people who operate within this narrow bandwidth. And this narrow bandwidth is whatever side you're on, whether it's you're on the right or the left, this is the side that you want to win. And it's the right side, and they're the good people. And the other side, even though our side does wrong, this side does worse. And they operate in this real narrow bandwidth. This is why she would think something that's possibly negative for her side is a protest vote instead of being your actual feelings on the issue.
And if these people really cared about voting integrity, wouldn't they want paper ballots?
Yeah.
If they really cared about voter integrity, wouldn't they want ranked choice voting? Wouldn't they want that? Then you don't have to worry about this.
Ranked choice voting?
Ranked choice. So they have it in Maine now, right? So it's where you get to. This is my first choice. This is my second choice. This is my third choice. So you don't get to, so it eliminates that you're a spoiler, right? Yeah, so, and they voted in Maine, and the politicians, of course, don't want it, so they got rid of it. And they had to court reinstate it. They had to, I think it's happened twice now.
How does it work in terms of, like, say if you're going to vote for, governor of Maine? You have a first choice, a second choice, and
let's say there's three choices.
Right.
So you get to say, well, let's say if your first choice was a Green Party candidate, you go, okay, that's my first choice, but my second choice would be the Democrat.
So
and my third choice would be, maybe nobody.
And so does second choice have different points?
So if your first choice doesn't get enough votes to win, then your second choice goes, right? So that's how it works. So you're never wasting your vote. And you know what's ironic? Is that, and I might have, there's been people who can better explain that, so please, I know people are going to be, Jamie, the way better way to say beautiful. That, I'm sure there's better ways. But the thing that kills me is that Bernie Sanders, his whole career was about being an independent. And I have videotapes of him saying, what kills me is I go out and I do these talks, and I talk to people, they come up to me after these debates, and they say, I like what you said, and you make the most sense, but I can't vote for you because you're never going to win. I hate that. They go, I want to waste my vote. Oh, if there's one thing I hate more than that's phrase, waste your vote. This was what he was saying his entire career until now. And I want to know why. I want to know what the hell does Bernie Sanders in 2018 know that Bernie Sanders in 2006 didn't know, and Bernie Sanders in 1996 doesn't know. And he tells everybody you got to run. He's getting people to come into the Democratic Party, which is actively cheating them. Yet he still
cheating him.
Yeah. Yet he still runs as an independent in Maine. I mean, in Vermont, he still runs it. Everybody's saying you can't do. He gets to run as an independent.
He gets to run as an independent while representing the Democratic Party sometimes.
Yes. So they have a special sweetheart deal.
So what is he saying when he said? Is he saying now that protest votes are a waste? Like, what is he saying?
He told everybody to vote for Hillary. He's not starting a third party. And, his whole life he said that we have to have, the verbiage he used one time I saw him was that, Jesse Jackson's correct. We need a rainbow coalition of people. But it has to happen outside of the Democratic Party. He said that. That was him. So we have to have a progressive coalition, but it has to happen outside. And who better to lead it but Bernie Sanders? So that's why it's hard to start a third party, because you need people who are already famous and popular and in government. So if he left and he got, say, Tulsi Gabbard and Nina Turner and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and he got a bunch of people that are super popular on the left, we'd have a third party that would be polling at 10, 15%. And now the Democrats would have to form a coalition instead of what they're doing now, which is ignoring progressives. After she cheated Bernie Sanders, after the Democrats cheated Bernie Sanders in the primary, Hillary Clinton didn't choose Bernie Sanders as her vice president, as an olive branch. She didn't choose Elizabeth Warren as an olive branch. She went to her right. She got Tim Kaine, who's to the right of her, who's anti-union, who's everything bad thing you want, and a corporate Democrat. He's pro-wall, the whole deal. She went. So if we had a third party that actually polled at 10 or 15%, they would have to. They couldn't do that anymore. They'd have to do a thing called voter outreach instead of voter shaming, or it's what it's devolved to now, which is democracy shaming. They're literally shaming people for participating in democracy. You don't get to participate in democracy because you're a third party. Well, fuck you. That's called democracy. And so, yes, I do, and I get to vote my conscience. And we'll be right back.
That's a good break. That's a good ad break right there. That's solid. If you're on a radio show, that would be the way to go. Hey, one of the reasons why we came in today is because we wanted to talk about the Alex Jones situation. I know you were not just a vocal critic of Alex Jones, you spit in his face on live internet.
Joe, I did not spit in his face. That was completely involuntary.
He coughed and liquid came out of your mouth. And
as you know, Alex Jones is hilarious. There's no doubt. There's no denying that.
He's occasionally very hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I told you what happened. I was walking up. He's having this. They're just about to go with fisticuffs the whole time.
Yeah.
And as I walk up, he goes, "Hey, I'm just trying to be nice."
And you had a spit take.
And I had a mouthful of iced tea, and that was that. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Good story. You know, when Trump meant to say would, and he actually said
wouldn't.
Yeah, he actually, what did he say? I don't see any reason why they would, but he meant to say wouldn't. Yeah, that was one of the worst lies I think anybody has ever told on television in front of millions of people. That was a disturbing lie because in the context of the words and the way he was communicating, it's very clear. It's very clear he meant to say would.
It was disconcerting to me for a different reason. It was disconcerting to me because it showed that.
I don't care.
And sabotages, including a secret years-long collaboration with the George Soros-funded far-left activist group that endangered the lives of Gavin McInnes, this reporter, Milo Yiannopoulos, and Tommy himself. Leaked documents revealed here for the first time confirm many of the claims. We found that the pair stole Bitcoin worth $20,000 from Tommy Robinson while the activist was in jail to fund their jet-set lifestyle, booked a luxury Airbnb, and bought 6 bottles of Dom Perignon champagne on Tommy Robinson's wife's credit card. Swapped camera equipment worth thousands of dollars for worked with Hope Not Hate, an Antifa-affiliated far-left organization for years, defrauded Alex Jones with inflated expense claims, risked the life of Tommy Robinson by sharing his location with Hope Not Hate, risked the life of Gavin McInnes by sharing his travel itinerary with the same group, circulated a fake email link about Milo Yiannopoulos doxing his husband while being paid by Yiannopoulos' tour operator for PR work, defrauded Lauren Southern with inflated invoices while being paid by her to produce a documentary, defrauded rental companies by failing to return equipment and returning inferior models and broken units, made a fake rape claim against a far-left activist, bragged about having TV shows canceled with bogus suicide threats, doctored their clients' videos to embarrass them, including pitch shifting male voices upward, gloated about their exploits while showering far-left activists with gifts, food, and drinks at London's most expensive hotels, paid for by the conservatives they were working with. Shared their misdeeds with Lauren Southern, who laughed and egged them on, disavowed Southern and Robinson when we challenged them about their crimes, claiming that they've been radicalized by the far right online. Well, that sounds familiar. This story is the result of nearly 100 telephone interviews and a forensic review of evidence provided in no less than 5 discrete leaks and document dumps. We found that while working on Southern's film Borderless and while planning for You Can't Watch This, which boasts appearances by McGinnis, Jones, Laura Loomer, and Paul Joseph Watson, and other conservative celebrities, Robertson and his boyfriend Lewin John spread doctored emails about right-wing media figures that led to damaging and bogus headlines. And according to one former flatmate of the pair, at least one of the personalities in their free speech film, Gavin McInnes, was directly endangered when they shared his travel itinerary with Hope Not Hate, a British far-left campaigning group akin to the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is linked to domestic terrorist groups such as Antifa. While describing himself as one of the most important figures on the right, Cullen Robertson was simultaneously doxing and endangering bona fide right-wing celebrities. Lucy Brown, a former co-worker and former employee of Tommy Robinson, alleges the pair regularly shared travel itineraries and other sensitive information with Hope Not Hate. Leaked private messages from the organization's chief executive support her claim. A photograph of McGinnis at an airport check-in line, taken without his knowledge, first appeared in a Hope Not Hate report suggesting the group knew exactly which flight he was booked on. Those close to the pair say that the most recent full-time employer, Lauren Southern, knew about a lot of what they were up to and even met with Hope Not Hate herself.
I want one of these
Yeah,
Rocco
why the
Max
fuck
fuel
would you
tanks.
meet with Hope Not Hate? What reason would you have? That's fucking bullshit. Former friends of the couple claimed that Southern kept Robinson and Llewellyn John on her payroll even after she suspected they may have defrauded her to the tune of thousands of dollars. Astonishingly, she even allowed herself to be drawn into their subterfuges. Subterfuges? I think it's subterfuges. Southern met secretly with representatives of Hope Not Hate as leaked audio of a phone call with Tommy Robinson, published here for the first time, confirmed. We'll play it.
Bit of a strange one here.
It's been a minute.
I know, sorry man, I know it's 4 o'clock in the morning here, but I've just got off the phone to Kaylin for an hour, yeah? How much have they told you about Hope Not Hate?
Not much. Why?
You're aware they've been meeting with them regularly?
I've met Joe too before. Yeah, I know that Kaylin and George have met with them before.
Continually met with them? When you was doing your Borderless documentary, Hope Not Hate flew out to Italy to meet them?
I don't know what they were talking about.
So it's a quick one, but she at least acknowledged that they were regularly meeting with Hope Not Hate. That's fucked up. Hope Not Hate has been called extremist and violent by Brexit Party leader Nigel Farage, though Farage was later forced to apologize rather than face a libel lawsuit. But so dodgy is the group's reputation
be the first
that even
satellite
now
we
its own
launch.
chief executive is seen in private messages, clarifying that threats to retaliate are meant politically. This should not be read to mean anything violent, quote unquote. Hope Not Hate was then responsible for getting Pamela Geller and Robert Spencer banned from the UK, regularly gloats about attacks on conservatives, but no one's been able to prove the links between them and the violent groups yet. A former Hope Not Hate activist, Dan Hodges, describes it as using every dirty, underhanded, low-down, unscrupulous trick in the book. Hope Not Hate reacts with apoplexy, intimidation, and legal threats anytime its name is besmirched, because it relies on relationships with major broadcasters and newspapers to be effective. But the synergy between the researchers and unsavory street activists is an open secret, and Hope Not Hate spends comparatively little time resisting violent racists and
I unlocked
extremism,
the higher
preferring to
level
spend
one of
its
these, but I
time
didn't.
discrediting and endangering the lives of moderate but popular conservative media figures. Colin Robinson, while on Tommy Robinson's payroll, shared Tommy's location in real time with Hope Not Hate not once but twice. Tommy was followed by Hope Not Hate activists as a result. According to testimony from former co-workers, Robertson and Llewellyn John's number one client, Tommy Robinson, discovered most of their wrongdoing when he came out of prison in September of 2018 to discover that tens of thousands of dollars had been stolen. Tommy had previously heard rumors and observed character flaws, but offered the pair chance after chance to mend their ways. This story is the first time that he commented
We'll
on the
unlock
record
this
about the
later.
couple's
We'll do this
misdeeds.
later.
He now acknowledges that they are beyond saving. They're fraudsters, he bluntly admits, regretting that he gave the couple so many opportunities for redemption. The CEO of Hope Not Hate he said, I have no obligation to explain anything. I know what I have, and that's fine. People have often asked me why we didn't publicly release the denials from Colin or indeed any other info that he might or might not have given us over time. My answer has always been we don't need to respond to other people. We set our own agenda
Gigameters, wow.
as and when it suits us. A lot of people want to get even with Robertson and Llewellyn John, and more than a dozen shared what they know in a telephone interview. Many of the people we interviewed, some of whom are prominent media figures, were happy to pass along documents, audio recordings, and screenshots of private conversations while asking not to be identified by name for fear of reprisals from notoriously vindictive Robertson. After reviewing tranches of leaked documents and screenshots, footage, audio recordings, and interviews, we present here for the first time an account not
$690
only of
million.
breathtaking disloyalty, but also outright criminality from Robinson and Llewellyn John. The question hanging over the pair's misdeeds now is, how much did Lauren Southern know? Most people, if they heard the name Colin Robertson at all, dimly recall some sort of bribery scandal involving Canadian media empire Rebel Media. Sometime after the couple left Rebel under a cloud of intense scandal and gossip, Rebel founder Ezra Levant posted a jaw-dropping video explaining what happened. Levant describes how the pair insinuated themselves into Tommy Robinson's inner circle by providing him with better editing, lighting, and direction for his YouTube videos. Levant, who employed Robinson at the time, began paying the pair a small stipend for their work, and the trio, Robertson, and Llewellyn John, became the de facto London bureau of Rebel Media. Robertson was hired full-time by Levant after claiming he'd been fired from his previous job for appearing in public with Tommy Robinson, but Levant says he didn't do the usual checks on new employees. He saw an enthusiastic, talented young guy who was doing polished work and took a chance on him. That shit never
Antenna, 3
works out.
million range.
I mean, obviously, being in, like, doing retail is completely different than this, but just the idea, like,
51 minutes and
potential
counting.
employee looks
No luck.
promising, let's take a chance on him. That never works. That never works. Maybe other people have had good experience with that shit. Anyway, he did the same with Llewellyn John. No interview, no background check. I mean, you're committing suicide there. Like, what are you doing? He
Rank
now bitterly
148.
regrets the punt. Quote, I think their Achilles heel is financial fraud, he responded by text messages when asked to comment. Padded invoices, false invoices, and so on, but it would take
Are
one
we
of their
interfering
victims
now?
to move against them. Levant says the warning signs began almost immediately after he'd hired the pair, with panicky calls in the middle of the night asking for us to immediately advance them 50, 90, 300, 380 pounds by PayPal to cover strange expenses like asking for cash to pay for Ubers. Ubers don't take cash. On top of their full-time salaries, Levant even gifted the men 2,800 pounds so they could move into a more comfortable apartment after he saw their squalid flat in the suburbs. According to Levant, Robertson spent the money on a luxury holiday instead. And when he got back, the pair was facing homelessness.
Oh, solar panels.
So Levant gave them another 3,500 pounds. He says he also bought them computers and cell phones. They were walking. Was he fucking them? Like, what is going on here? They were always asking for cash, always in a panic, he recalls. Okay, I mean, maybe not. That's my initial thought there. But, you know, maybe he was just being fatherly. Okay, moving on here. I don't know anything about Ezra Levant. Eventually, the relationship fell apart because the pair were moonlighting, doing other jobs on company time, and missing bookings because they had arguments and wouldn't leave their apartment. Sounds like they were a couple very strong fellas. No emotional problems there.
How much are these
Contemporaneous
per charge?
flatmate says they often
1.3.
failed to emerge from their hibernacle because they were drinking and arguing. Levant eventually flew a representative over to put an end to things.
And my antenna's
Why
drained.
wouldn't you just fire them over the phone anyway? It's none of my business. It's not a world I understand. But Robertson and Llewellyn John demanded thousands of
3
pounds in
seconds, so this
severance,
should
which
be
the
enough.
representative advised Levant to pay to make some problems go away. What, did they have shit on Levant? Anyway. When the severance papers came back, Robertson and Llewellyn John had scrawled additional demands on them, such as $6,000 for rent. Levant paid up, hoping it was the last he'd hear from them. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Anyway, it soon emerged that the pair were planning to set up their own media company, launching it off the back of scandal by claiming that they had quit Rebel Media over ethical concerns. Colin and George threatened to say they were pocketing donors' money, Levant revealed. They also most disturbingly said they had video footage of Tommy Robinson confessing to an assault and that they would release it unless they were paid even more money. Levant signed another contract to buy their silence for Tommy's sake without finding out if the footage even existed. Okay. Levant and Robinson both contributed to the settlement. The footage since released was of a minor and significant public altercation.
Wow.
Okay. All right. John Szalowski says, my meth heads. Yeah, that's seems like there was a lot of drug use and alcohol. Fascinating. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. And then the couple announced that they were proceeding with the release of footage anyway, having secretly recorded every conversation they had with Levant and Tommy Robinson up to that point, including conversations concerning what Levant not unreasonably termed hush money. That was the final straw for the Rebel founder, who sought legal advice and released a statement before the pair could leak whatever dirt they concocted. From their covert recordings, Robinson's retaliatory video in which he accuses Levant of misdirecting donor funds garnered over 330,000 views on YouTube. Ezra Levant has a reputation for being difficult to deal with, but he's an earnest man whose critics admit that he may be tough, but he is a fair dealer. I have no idea if that's true. Leaked emails show Robertson offering damaging information about Rebel Media to left-wing journalists in retaliation for Levant putting an end to the shakedown. Leaked emails from August 2017 show Robertson in contact with Canadian journalist Sean Craig. He's asked by Craig to explain on his allegations that Rebel Media was being investigated by regulatory authorities and that Ezra Levant wanted to make someone commit suicide with a lawsuit. Robertson exchanged 63 emails with Craig, just one of the reporters he courted, begging anyone with a byline to write something negative about Rebel Media. This extraordinary series of events was widely covered by YouTubers and the conservative press. Lauren Southern, as a former Rebel Media contributor herself, knew all about it before she hired Robertson and Llewellyn John as her full-time video producers. And of course, Tommy Robinson knew all about it too, though he could have no idea at the time just how depraved the couple's behavior was to become. At the time of the dispute, Tommy Robinson posted a video to reassure donors that Rebel Media was indeed behaving appropriately with funds and hoped the drama would blow over. During a fact-checking, Robertson insisted that he was still employed by everyone, who now says the pair stole from them. But that isn't true. Tommy Robinson describes the pair as fraudsters and Robertson as having no morality and says that he has no more projects planned for them. Robertson counters that Tommy is still sending them payments. Southern, meanwhile, has retired from public life and is no longer employing the couple either. You Can't Watch This may have been funded by Alex Jones, but Jones wasn't aware of the vast majority of allegations swirling around the pair until approached in the run-up to this story. As far as we could tell, the pair have no paid work on the horizon. Streamlabs, we have Real-Time Dark Legend says, I'm back, bitches. You can all take turns running a train on my faggotry asshole. Excuse me, faggotee asshole. I wish I have more holes for you to fill. I want to shit out your cum for a week. Turn me into a Twinkie, tan on the outside, cream filling on the inside, whipped cream like he does with all of his fag hookers. It turns me on until I black out. If Adam really loved me, he would torture me hardcore to keep me away. Oh man, I love BDSM shit. Man, that's a rough one. Adam Schiff, really? Well, not at all surprised. All right, thank you, Real-Time Dark Legend. Appreciate that. Be careful out there. You know, your asshole. You can't get that shit back. You know, once it stretches out enough, you're not gonna ever get that back. You're not gonna get your. That doesn't even make sense. I'm like delusional from reading the article. Okay, I'm gonna read it though. I mean, this is fascinating. All right, continuing. Yet it remains that Tommy Robinson and Lauren Southern both employed Colin Robertson and George Llewellyn John, knowing that they were accused of stealing money from their previous employer, and that Levant had publicly alleged that they had extorted him for ever larger sums long after they left the company. It was only thanks to their close relationship with Tommy Robinson and Lauren Southern that other conservatives granted the pair access to interviews. But Lauren Southern's relationship with the pair was especially close and lasted until May 2019. Not only did she live with Robertson and Llewellyn John in London for a time, but Llewellyn John wrote the majority of the script for Borderless, as well as Southern's speech at the European Union. Wow. Southern famously writes very little of her own material and has often embarked on sexual liaisons with men who have helped her with video scripts or notes for her content. I'll fucking write her a script. While giving speeches about the trad life, which typically refers to fidelity in same-race nuclear families, Southern was, in the indelicate words of one major YouTuber, quote, throwing herself around what seemed like the entire conservative movement in exchange for help with her writing. We approached 4 of the men she's been linked to romantically, each of them a prominent right-wing media figure in a position to help Southern succeed professionally. All 4 begged not to be named in the story. An earlier example of the Southern sex for ghostwriting phenomenon is Breitbart reporter Alam Bukhari, with whom Southern began a short sexual relationship with in Los Angeles in late 2015. She cut off contact in typically abrupt fashion, leaving Bukhari heartbroken for over a year, during which time associates of her made embarrassingly secret recordings of Bukhari as leverage. Man, these people are unbelievable. In case he ever considered revealing their intimate encounters, this author acquired copies of those recordings at the time and retains them to this day. Holy shit, Milo's got the goods on some of these people. There is no suggestion that Southern and Lou L. John, who used to identify as transgender, had a physical relationship. If Robertson and Lou L. John were still being employed by Southern, Tommy Robinson and others, this would indeed represent a powerful defense against the accusations they face constantly from friends and former co-workers and clients. But everyone except Robinson himself denies that this is the case. Southern and Tommy Robinson have no plans to work with the pair ever again. Laura Loomer canceled a slated project with the couple when made aware of the contents of this report ahead of publication. Still, the bad smell will not dissipate, partly because even those who describe themselves as reserving judgment or who have not been personally touched by wrongdoing are stunned by examples of Robertson's petty and vindictive behavior. One leaked WhatsApp message shows Robertson complaining that his administrative access to Tommy Robinson's YouTube account has been withdrawn after he posted Islamic relief donation links under Tommy's videos in a minor form of retaliation after a falling out. This isn't how conservative media figures want their staff behaving, given the levels of scrutiny under which right-wing commentators operate. Leaked emails prove that Robertson has been systemically ripping off his clients with outrageous upcharges on expenses, while obtaining to stay ahead of chaotic personal finances and what Robertson has admitted is a spending problem. Lucy Brown says that when she lived with Robertson, he would go to the supermarket for milk and come back with a flat-screen TV. That's when Robertson and Lou L. John aren't using other people's credit cards or outright stealing money. 3 sources close to Tommy Robinson confirmed that not only did this pair steal Bitcoin worth $20,000 while Tommy was in jail,